Hello everyone, I am Triconator, you may call me Trico, and welcome to my hotel. On today's schedule, we have for you Leaders and Dragons, Inspirational Leaders. Let's get started. So, this is one of the biggest topics that I wanted to discuss, and I just want to just get it off the table immediately, which is leaders need to inspire their followers. And that goes to your boss as well. Whatever you're working, your boss should try to inspire you, but it's not easy, and no one really knows how to explain them how to because it's boring for them. That is where dungeon masters in Dungeons and Dragons become very interesting. So before I can even get into the subject, I need to give you at least a very small rundown about what dungeon masters are. So the simplest way I can think of, pretty much just spitballing this right out here, is that dungeon masters are those who describe the whole problem scenario for you in a way that you want to interact with the world around you. If you translate this into the company, try the side of it, then you might imagine the boss saying, okay, we have a problem. We need to get 10 people for tomorrow because this happened. Boom. That's a situation. That's a lousy dungeon master if you ever met one, because dungeon masters, they really find a way to inspire you to face challenges. Maybe not all challenges are possible. Maybe sometimes you'll find impossible challenges, but still you should tackle them, right? That is your job. So I never want to put you in a position where you're going to try to solve a situation you don't even think can be winnable, because winning is a vague concept as long as you allow your followers to understand that winning is the goal, but it's not the end of all things. So sometimes you are going to be tasked to do something that seems impossible, or it could outright be impossible. But a good dungeon master will describe it in a way that you might want to leave some leeway to be surprised. For instance, that situation I gave you, 10 people for tomorrow, immediately, boom, you have to do it. Well, it sounds hard, but have you asked enough questions? Players in Dungeons and Dragons will ask questions to the dungeon master, right? Because both guys are on the same side. Your boss and the followers should always be on the same side, just from different positions. So as a player, I would usually ask, okay, can I throw a perception roll? Is there something that you're not showing me? Is there a hidden monster, a key, a door, a leeway? Is there more? Can I be creative about how I solve the solution, or do you just want me to press the same button 10 times in a row until it works? Well, that's not as easy to say as I am bringing it, because sometimes as a leader you might have some limitations. But allow your team to surprise you. But you cannot do that if you're very, very clear or literal with them. If you try to be just a boss that works like a machine and, well, scenario is A and B, then that's math, right? If you're just having very few variables, that's math. And even on math, you have to be creative. You might not agree with me on that, but yes, you need to get creative even when solving math problems. That is why, as a leader, you should describe the scenario, describe why the scenario happened if possible, and explain what you would expect from your players or from your followers, from your team, coworkers, however you want to call them in this scenario. Explain, I want to get the 10 people for tomorrow. Ideally, and that's a key word, ideally, I would like to do this, 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 and that. If you guys don't have a plan, I already have one plan that works, and that is just working very hard. But if you guys have anything, then you need to create just an environment where players or coworkers in this case want to feel that giving ideas might not always work, and that's okay. That's part of being creative. A lot of times it's just not going to work. But do you have the freedom to do so? Can you be responsible with your creativity? In Dungeons and Dragons, you're responsible with your creative solutions, because if you say, hey, I want to talk to the ogre, well, maybe the ogre is not going to have such a nice temperament and it's going to kick your ass. And that was your risk management, right? You decide to try an idea and it didn't work, and well, now you're gonna have to pay the consequences. Hey, but that's no fun. But it is interesting, right? Because that's why your job has to be at all times. It doesn't have to be the best job in the world. It has to be interesting, inspiring. Because if you try creative solutions and they work, oh boy, your leader better reward that creativity. And I can tell you from my own experience as a leader, sometimes we're so overwhelmed by challenges that we ourselves wish we had some hope. And hope can come from a lot of different places. Hope can come from the boss's bosses, from the situation, from sheer luck, which that is the luck of the dice. And that is why in Dungeons and Dragons, both the dungeon master and the players use dice, because you cannot run a company when you can just roll a 3 like I just did and have a very bad situation. You cannot leave things to luck. Yet there will always be an element of luck. Now I'm getting even lower with it too. But you can keep on throwing dice as a player and as a dungeon master until eventually you get a high roll. But here's an interesting thing. In Dungeons and Dragons, the community itself knows of a technique the dungeon masters can use, which is called, oh my god, faking the roll, fudging the dice. And that is, okay, oh, instead of saying you that I received a 5, I can tell you that I received a 20, which is the maximum I can roll on this dice. Why would I say that? Well, sometimes it's better for the story if we just give them a win, even if they didn't get it on their own. Sometimes you can fall into despair instead of hope if the dice are just not helping you that night. And I am continually rolling low dices, or maybe I'm rolling great dices, but you as the viewer will never know unless your leader tells you. So if you see your team that is not inspired or is not filled with hope, then maybe you need to give them a victory. You need to find anything at all that they did and treat that as a victory, because that is the weapon of a good leader. That is the weapon of a great dungeon master, which is storytelling. Find a way to tell the story of your team in the best way possible. I've worked with a lot of people, and I've found greatness in every single one of them. I think that I'm still not such a great leader that I can make them into the best agents that I see that they could be, but I still allow them to throw dice in my domain because I can be responsible even if they fail. That is what a great leader does. A great dungeon master will tell you, well, if you want to go talk to the ogre, well, I guess you can do that. Throw the dice. And then they throw a dice and it says 7. It's still a low roll. You're like, well, I'm going to scare them, but I'm not going to kill them, right? As a dungeon master, we pull our punches, even when they're well-deserved. We kind of need to find a balance, and that is inspiring. Inspiration comes from someone who wanted to talk to an ogre. Everyone told them it's not a good idea to go and do that thing because A, B, and C. Hey, maybe you're lucky, and they were not lucky, right? They fail on all possible ways. But if you can tell them, you know what, I got your back. As long as you're part of my team, I got your back. Just please listen to me the next time, or give me your idea first. If I allow you to try your idea, it's because maybe it is crazy, but it's not out of this world. So let's pack it all in. As an inspiring leaders, you should give them the description of the world, but allow them to surprise you. You should give them some space so that they can make their own mistakes. And even if time after time after time the dice is not helping them, well, maybe you as your leader can help them. Or just use your weapons, storytelling, and make sure that whenever you retell the story of their failures, you retell it as brave individuals who are still brave enough to keep playing under your team, who keep trying things even if they fail, as long as your leader allows them to. Maybe then it's not that bad. So that's it for my time today. Thank you once again for staying in my hotel. Hopefully my rambling is inspiring to you. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I don't have any idea of what I'm doing here, but hopefully I'm entertaining you enough so that you can tell me what the rest of your answer is. Or maybe we can disagree. As long as we keep the ball rolling and you are holding at least one dice, I know I can trust in you because I am trusting luck first and ourselves second. Have a great day.